Hi, this is Greg Kihlstrom. Welcome to the Agile World podcast, where we discuss customer experience, employee experience, and transformation in an agile age. The Agile World podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to teksystems.com. To read more about the topics discussed on this show, you can go to my website at theagile.world and read my latest articles or get a copy of my latest book, The Center of Experience, a blueprint for creating an experience-led organization, now available on Amazon and other retailers. Hi, I'm Greg Kihlstrom. Welcome back to the Agile World podcast. Today I'm going to talk about how to get started with your own center of experience. So in my book of the same name, I talk about how to create this center of excellence around the concept of brand experience. So I define brand experience as this combination of employee and customer experience. By combining both of those things, you can have true business transformation. Great employees, happy employees that are motivated, create a great culture that then translate into happy customers that buy more, they buy more often, and they recommend more often. But to start and really create this center of experience, there's a lot of different components involved. So everything from the brand itself to how culture is measured, to the platforms, the environments, measurement itself, and many other components that I go through in much more depth in the book. In order to get started and be successful, though, there's a few things that I'll go through here. I'm going to talk about people, process, and technology, and then finally a fourth category, which is the measures of success. So let's start with people. At the very center of the center of experience diagram that I feature in the book is motivated employees. And I talked about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation a few episodes ago. Essentially, intrinsically motivated employees are really motivated at their core. It's not just a matter of companies throwing perks or bonuses at them in order to try to get them to do better work. They're truly motivated by the things that excite them and get them truly passionate about what they do. When they're motivated like this, they work together towards a common goal to create a great aligned culture of the organization, and ultimately that translates into great customer experience, which has very tangible benefits. So starting with people is so key here, because if the organization isn't really built around the people that run it and help it grow, it can't help, it can't be successful. So, we definitely want to start there. So step 2 would be, the process. So, while it's great to have those motivated employees and those happy customers, in order to make sure that that process is repeatable, you need to make sure that you're using methods to do that. So, there needs to be a way to scale. If you're a startup that has, very passionate customers, but as you grow and you go from 30 people to 3,000 people, all of a sudden you're going to have issues in how do you scale that experience, both internally and externally, that really created what you started in the first place. Obviously, this has similar effects at larger organizations as well. So having that way to be customer-centric and employee-eccentric, but be able to teach that to not only new employees, but make sure that people are following the same process every time, so there's consistency as well. Third thing would be technology. So, this includes the virtual environments and the platforms that I talk about in greater detail in the Center of Experience book. But really, it's that technology that underlies experience. So, and that's such a critical component. So, both on the employee as well as the customer side. On the employee side, what applications, what computers, what technologies an employee either has to use or is able to use makes such a big difference. And I think a lot of enterprises are realizing that the more flexibility that they can give their employees to be able to work not only on the device they feel most comfortable with, but where they want to work, how they want to work, the specific applications used to perform certain tasks. The more they're able to do that and really, make it less of a burden to do the work, the happier the employees are going to be, the more productive they're going to be. Same thing with customers. You want to make that as easy as possible. Often, you're not supplying applications for customers to use, but you are providing things like websites or kiosks or other things, making that as simple as possible to use, particularly in an age of increased automation. We're giving customers even more automated ways, online, mobile, all of those types of ways of interacting with our brand. We want to make that as easy as possible, but we also want to keep in mind this concept of the device agnostic consumer, which essentially means, for instance, I'm not necessarily thinking about using my laptop to communicate with a company, or my smartphone, or picking up the phone and calling, or I'm going to use whatever I feel is best at the right moment, given whatever context I happen to be in at the time. So brands need to really understand that and be adaptive to that as well. So the technology piece has to be adaptive to, okay, this person wants to use a chatbot as opposed to, sending an email. So, we need to be responsive to that. And that experience that they have with that chatbot needs to be consistent with other experiences. It doesn't need to be the same because the mediums are different. I think that's generally understood by consumers, but it's more about having a consistent quality of experience from platform to platform. So, that's where technology becomes really, really key. And then the last item, is measures of success. So, when we talk about people, processes, and technology, 3 very key things, but without understanding how each of those are successful, we're going to ultimately fall flat. So this is where, there is an entire measurement component I talked about on another episode, an entire measurement component of the center of experience that ties in the qualitative, quantitative, the process, and the product pieces of both customer and employee experience. By tying all of those things together, both not only those 4 individual things, but CX and EX together, we can really start tying things and seeing the effect that great employees have on great customers. So, a way to get started here really is to, better understand within the organization, are there executive stakeholders that can help you in implementing this center of experience? And it's not, as I've said often, you don't have to start all at once. You can implement pilot projects. You can start small, minimum viable product. Let's use those agile principles to do the best work, and then build from there. Find small successes, build from there. Not only building stakeholder buy-in, but building the platforms and processes that will make you successful. Thanks again for listening. See you next week. Thanks again for listening to the Agile World podcast, brought to you by TEKsystems. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom. You can learn more and get a copy of my latest book, The Center of Experience, from my website at theagile.world or on Amazon or other retailers. Until next week, stay agile.